Hello, hello. What's good, guys? Um, Welcome to yet another tutorial on my Patreon. And today we're gonna have a look into the project from Never Be Alone Again, featuring Utelka, which is actually released right now on UKF, which has amassed about 150k streams as well on Spotify. And we did a music video which is uploaded on UKF Drum and Bass as well, so you can go check it out. Um, and I thought of breaking down the tutorial into a few segments. First, we're going to look at the instrumental, and then, of course, we're going to look into the vocal side of things. I usually arrange vocals separately on a different project. So we're going to look at the vocals separately, and first we're going to look at the instrumental. And the instrumental is obviously going to be broken into a few segments, like the previous tutorial. If you remember, we covered the drums first, and then we looked into the bass elements, and then we looked into the musical elements of the tune. Um, and then we can obviously have a look into the mixing side of things and a little bit of post processing, and then we can move on to the vocals. So it could be a bit of a lengthy tutorial as well, but I'm sure you guys would be more than willing to have a tutorial which is lengthy, and where I'm going to go into in-depth details in terms of what I've done inside the track. And yeah, so I'm gonna play the tune first of all, from the beginning to the end, so that you can have a listen in terms of what we're going to discuss exactly. A few things might change, might sound different in terms of how the original sounded, because obviously I made the original on my previous laptop, and this is actually a new laptop, and there's a few missing plugins, and a bit of different settings included as well. So it might sound a little bit different, not a lot, I'd say. But yeah, it's pretty much the same with a little bit of changes here and there. So yeah, we can have a look into it and see how it's going on. I'm gonna play the tune first. Let's go. It's another variation of the same. It sounds like this. Yeah, yeah. And then again over here. Yeah. So I've created this extra layer by either using movement by output, or I think I may have used portal, or it could have been let me see, I think it was movement that I used. Yeah. um, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm finding it really difficult to find where I saved my plugins actually. Thermal, yeah, could have been thermal as well, but yeah, it's a variation of this of that step sound which I showed to you earlier. Um, okay, yeah, I'm gonna stop for a little bit because I have a small errand that needs to be done. But yeah, we're gonna continue right after. Okay, all right, we're back. It's a new day. As you can see, I'm wearing different clothes. Um, so recording this segment on a different day, obviously, and yeah, let's move on. So the next bass that I've used is kind of like a sound. If I play it to you, yeah, something like that. And it's just a couple of square waves. Square waves being modulated by using this LFO with this kind of a shape, which is assigned to this level knob, and obviously the second waveform is not being utilized in terms of the levels, but it's being used to FM. And then yeah, I have a cutoff filter, just removing some of the muds and the low end. And then if you move on to the FX parts of things, there's a distortion module called diode, which is being used at full force, and then a little bit of chorus, which is how I created this sound. And the unison is on 3. And if we go to the post processing kind of things, and yeah, just an EQ with a little bit of emphasis on the presence range, and then the LFO tool to sidechain. That's about it in terms of the specific sound. What is this? Yeah, so this sound. Yeah, another another basic waveform. Yeah, it says triangle wave, and then the basic MG shape is being utilized together. If you go to the FX, nothing much really happening, and I've assigned this cutoff filter over here, which is being modulated throughout. And if I play that phrase for you, yeah. In terms of post processing, just the LFO tool and an EQ. Yeah, nothing else. Nothing else in terms of the post processing that I've done for that. Yeah, that's it. To be honest, in terms of the bases. And towards the breakdown, yeah, I have this. Um, just a triangle wave, a square wave. Sorry. Hold on. What is this? Let me have a look again. Is this? Yeah, it's a sound. Yeah. And then have this CLA mono plugin, CLA 76. So these kind of like my Beetlejuice, or like the secret sauce when it comes to vocal processing. I just stick this in, and magically every sound comes out of the mix. I think this compressor has a built-in saturation module as well, which is why the sounds are being enhanced as soon as I put this into the mix. And then of course I have the FabFilter Pro Q3, and gotten rid of the lows and the mud, and then I've enhanced in terms of like the presence range, and then I have vintage band and another EQ. So that's basically what I've done in terms of those ad libs. So that's the main vocal that you're hearing, and I'm using the vocal rider just to control the dynamics in terms of the gain, and then if I open it and show what it does. It controls the dynamics pretty perfectly based on the range that you provide this plugin. And then of course I have the pitcher. It's on D sharp minor, so the scale is set to D sharp minor, and then the speed of the tuning is probably towards the slow and the medium side of things, because she's a phenomenal singer, so she can pitch. So there's nothing much that I need to do in terms of the pitcher. And then of course I've introduced the CLA 76 mono for the main vocal, and if you look at the analog button over here, I'm using the 60 hertz button, and what it does is it provides a bit of tape saturation to the vocal. If you go to the Q3, there's a signal coming already, if you can see over here, which is kind of like the tape saturation sound based on the analog gear of the which was the inspiration for this plugin. Yeah, it has two versions, but I'm using the bluey version, and I'm using an EQ, and then of course Soothe, because I'm lazy. I couldn't be bothered to control the resonances of the vocal. I just stick this in and then use the dip button and manage the curve. If I play it to you, see, it's controlling all the unwanted resonances. And then I have the MB as a DSR. If you have a look over here, it's controlling the SS. So yeah, so the main vocal is sent to quite a few other channels as well, which are mainly delays actually. Different delays. If I go to one delay, there's a limiter. So the limiter is actually acting as a sidechain for the main vocal. So whenever the main vocal hits, all the delays are sidechained and given emphasis on onto the main vocal, and then they come back again after the main vocal is done. There's a lot of delays that are being used in this vocal project. We started this out as you can clearly hear them. No, hope we can work it all out in the end. Yeah, so there's a delay, a reverse delay over here, and then there's an octave of the same vocal. No, hope we can work it all out in the end. So everything together sounds like that. I use an octave here and there, and for the octave I use a plugin called the manipulator, which is kind of like a vocal manipulator plugin by Infected Mushroom. So I use that quite often to get different textures of the same sound, so that I can layer them together and make them sound more interesting. And then yeah, chest to chest now. So this is the main vocal. We're on solid ground, you'll never be alone again. Pass the test now, you can scream alone. Alone again. And then on the past the test now phrase, there's a octave as well. There's a bunch of reverb. So the reverb tail keeps on going, that you can hear it, and then there's a bunch of ad libs going forward. The delay keeps on going towards the first drop, like that, just to provide a very interesting transition from the first phrase to the first drop. And then this comes. There's a lot of harmonies introduced as well. If I go to them, the processing is pretty much similar. I've used the pitcher, the mono compressor, and then dub X delay. If I go to this harmony, it'll be very close to what it is. Pitcher, mono, and then I've used the X-split stereo to send the channels to both sides of the stereo mix. And yeah, and then this ad lib.